I think the most important aspect of the budget today is the focus on investment. The allocation for investment has been made 10 lakh crore, which is a sharp jump from 7.5 lakh crore last year. With this, the capital spending by the government would now be 22% of the overall spending. Remember, just in financial year 19, this was 13%. So there has been a 9% increase in capital spending. And as we know, the capital spending has a multiplier effect. So this has a very positive impact on the overall growth. So on the economic front, the first thing is this is a budget which is supportive of growth. At the same time, there were apprehensions that this is the last full budget before the next general election. So it's pretty likely that government will go for populist measures. But as you have seen in the budget, there is no such populist measure. Rather, government has focused on the scheduled slow fiscal consolidation. So the fiscal deficit, which was budgeted and the actual is also 6.4% of GDP. For the next financial year, the budget has put the fiscal deficit number at 5.9% of the GDP. Remember, for the current year, that is the year which will end on March 2023, there were huge expenditure overrun because of food and fertilizer subsidies. If those things won't have happened, the fiscal deficit would have been much lower for the current year. Now, if we don't have similar kind of unexpected expenditure in the next year, our sense is that fiscal deficit can be lower than what has been budgeted for the year. This is positive for inflation because this will help the monetary policy to contain inflation. So both on account of growth as well as on account of inflation, this is a good budget. Also, since the budget has maintained market borrowing, both gross and net, for the next year, roughly at the same level as the current year in rupee terms, that means there is significant scope for the bond yields to come down. So that obviously will benefit the bondholders, but more than that, it will help the equity investment. Because as the bond yield goes down, so also the discounting rate for equities, and as discounting rate goes down, the valuation of the companies go up, and as valuation of the companies go up, so also the valuation multiples. At the same time, because of maintaining the fiscal prudence, and it is likely that the cost of fund will come down as the bond yields come down. If cost of fund comes down, that's good for corporate earning. So corporate earnings will also, both equity re-rating and earnings re-rating, both are likely from the budget. For the corporate sector, overall this is a positive budget, and especially for sectors such as hospitality, tourism, even the banks, particularly public sector banks, also infrastructure and construction companies, for building material like cement, this budget is pretty positive. In some of the segments, however, there can be some negative impact. For example, the proceeds of life insurance, which was so far tax-free, would be tax-free only up to 5 lakh limit. So that reduces the attractiveness of life insurance as a product, and which was to a large extent sold because of this tax benefit. So this can actually negatively impact the insurance companies. But once again, this is another step. If people are saving but they are not saving in insurance, they have to save in some other instrument. And this is another reason why the retail participation in equities can go up, either directly into equities or through mutual funds or even the ULIPs of insurance companies. So attractiveness of ULIP vis-a-vis the traditional insurance schemes now go up. So overall, what we think, this budget has done a balancing job between promotion of growth and fiscal consolidation, boosting investment while not discouraging private consumption, and giving some relief to the taxpayers while not reducing the tax revenue by a large extent. So this is a good balancing budget, and we think this budget, which come in a phase when the global economy is going through a rough patch and India is being seen as the brightest hope for the global economy, this budget will help India to consolidate her position in the global order.